Okay, so I just picked up a radio link transmitter. It's the RC4GS, and I just unboxed it. So I've already got my GoPro mount on the camera. It's got a convenient 1/4-20 thread base, so you can mount stuff real easy, cameras, FPV, whatever you want to do. So now I'm going to break into my armored granite. And of course, this one's a 2S, but I've kind of modified it a little bit and put in a 3S ESC and stuff. So anyways, you're going to take your screws out, of course, and then your switch has to come out too. So there's 3 little screws you got to remove. And that'll give you access to your receiver. And let's see here. Come on, receiver. A little bit tight. Anyways, the footprint on the receiver of this one looks pretty similar. It's not much bigger, really. See if I can get that in better focus for you guys. Anyways, that's it. And it's a 6-channel receiver, so yeah. And it's got the built-in gyro. That's the main reason I got it, is because I want to be able to line up with my jumps and stuff, or be able to track straight going down the road. So I'll get that in, and then we'll look at it and see how it does. Okay, the original receiver is glued in with like double back tape. You just have to pry up on it. It's a little bit tight, but you'll get it out. A little bit tight, real tight. Wow. Those screws are nothing holding it in, of course. Just some double back tape. And then it comes out. And then you can just swap your wires over. Okay, something else I should point out. The original receiver, it just says aux, throttle, and steering. On the new receiver, it just says channel 1, 2, 3 through 6, like that. But if you look at the book, it's easy enough to determine what's what there. Your steering is going to go in channel 1, your throttle is channel 2, and 3 through 6 are just auxiliary channels. So, easy enough to figure out. The only thing I got to do is I've got to probably take this whole box out, unfortunately, and take the servo linkage off in order to flip the box over to get the antenna to come back up through this little post. A little bit of a work, but not that bad. Okay, just like in most other videos you've seen, there's 4 screws to take out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they got a little dot mark in them that clearly marks them. And you got to take out the screw for your steering linkage. I've been pulling weeds out of this thing like crazy, man. I can't believe how many weeds got in there last time. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, so now the steering box and servo and stuff is out of there, or the receiver box and servo's out, and just underneath it, and it's amazing because I've cleaned this car really well, and it's just, the stuff just keeps falling out of it. It's kind of funny. Anyways, let's see how this antenna goes through there. Yeah, it just goes up and through and in. So we're going to get her routed properly and probably clean this thing a little bit. So that just comes right out, no big deal. Looks like the new one has a much longer lead to it. Maybe that's why it gets better range, but I'm just going to shove it up into here anyways because I'm happy with the range, and if there's a little slack, I'll leave it inside the box. Alright, so the antenna lead just goes down through here. It's going to set in that slot eventually, and just bring her on up through. The eyesight is horrible, but actually the hole is right there on the side of that post, and it'll go right on in if you line it up proper. Kind of just push her on in there. Should come all the way out. See, it's out, so yeah, no problem. Okay, something to remember on this one, because being that it has the built-in gyro, you're going to have to push this button 3 times, and to get to that button is pretty difficult. If you have it down inside there, it'd be impossible. So just leave it hanging free for now and get it back together. Okay, just take this whole module and just slide this piece of linkage. You can see that or not, this piece of linkage here. Just slide it underneath your your steering mechanism and kind of put it in place like that. And then you can flip the whole car over and get that screw in, because it's the hardest one, basically. Okay, so if you need to, just turn your wheels to where you get this in a good position, and then just take the linkage and move it over. Actually, this little guy works pretty good. I like working on people's teeth. No, I'm just kidding. Just a little dental tool. It's good for getting stuff aligned. Once you're aligned, then you can put your screw back in. And this screw is a 2mm screw. That back in there. And away you go. In like Flynn. I really should be using a power tool on this, but I'm kind of lazy to go out to the garage and get one. What I notice is you've got to kind of put a little bit of pressure on the screws when you screw them in, because they need to start biting into the plastic. You know, it's not a real good thread. It's just, you know, plastic with metal. So with the drill, it goes a lot easier because it bites right in. But with by hand, you got to give it a little bit of pressure. Not a big deal. Once you get one screw in, the other three go in pretty easy. Okay, on some cars you'll have white, red, and black, or in this case we have a gray, orange, and black. Just orientate your light colored, either your white or your gray, towards the inside on your receiver. So this is the steering servo. It's going to go in slot 1. Your ESC will go into channel 2. And it's got the same color coding, but you know, it doesn't matter. They should have them keyed probably. I don't know if it really matters. I mean, it does matter, but I mean, if it's going to do any damage if you had them in backwards, but that's the way they go. Gray towards the inside or white towards the inside. So that's done. So now pretty much I can power it up and check out the gyro on this and get it going. I'll have to put some batteries in the transmitter first. Something to note on the transmitter is that you can pull this tray out. It's kind of difficult to get it out. I'm not going to do it right now, but I might as well. It's hard to get out. There's a JST plug right here. You can see that very well. And you can actually run like a 2S or a 4S LiPo inside of here rather than have a bunch of double A's. Okay, I'm going to turn on the radio for the first time. See what it does. Okay, it's up. It says 8.9 volts. And got the battery plugged in. I can go ahead and turn the car on. Just in case I might hold the car up in the air. Everything seems to be good. Okay, so now I want to put this receiver so that it has gyro capability. So within a 1 second window, you've got to press this button 3 times. The light will go from green to red, I guess. Oh, not easy, man. Okay, so there's that little button. This should be small enough. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now it's red. It's actually flashing red. Not sure if that's correct. Okay, it went solid. So I think we're good there. So you can see that when you do that, this is supposed to be still. So you can see that I've got my gyro's working. So that's cool. I can adjust the sensitivity down on the gyro. I'll have to walk through the menu on the transmitter to get that the way I want it, but we'll see. Okay, so before I was so rudely interrupted by my car, I don't know, I must have hit the trigger. I don't think I did, but man, that thing went flying. Okay, so got it up on a stand now. That's a little better. Let me zoom out. Okay, there we go. Two position. All right, so now I can mess with it. I should actually tighten the stand up first. It's always good to have a nice clear workspace and to have your car up on a stand when you're doing stuff like this. Just a warning. Anyways, I'm going to turn the car back on. Alright, I'm not touching the trigger or nothing. I still got my gyro. I'm not even doing anything. Look at that thing go, man. Okay. Alright. That's pretty sensitive. What I wanted to see is if I turn one way, if the gyro will bring it back the other way. Because you can get that backwards, you know. I'm not touching anything right now. Let's go into the gyro and see if I can adjust it. Oh, you can immediately adjust it right here. Something to note on the gyro part of the receiver is it's got phasing. So if you turn the wheels to the right, it should correct and come back left. If that's reversed, then you've got to reverse the phasing. In order to reverse the phasing, you got to get back to the receiver and press it twice, and see the light flash twice and stuff. It's all in the book, but anyways, hopefully I got it right. If not, it means I got to pull the receiver back out and change the phasing, but we'll see. Okay, thank goodness my gyro's working correctly. And here's how you set up your gyro sensitivity, how much you want. I don't know if you can see that well. Let's see. Okay, but it's just basically that knob right there. So, you know, if you bring it up, the bar will come up. If you want it to go down, the bar will go down. That shuts it all the way off. About middle is about perfect, though. If you go too high, the car will just wobble back and forth. But yeah, that works perfect. That's easy to understand. Oh, and one other thing I noticed, that when I swapped out the motor and ESC on this car, I had reverse rotation, so I just swapped two of the motor leads to change the phasing. But now that I put this new receiver and transmitter together with the car, it was going forward instead of reverse and reverse instead of forward, so I just swapped the leads, so they're set perfect now. So somehow this radio knows that ESC or whatever, and gives me my correct rotation. It took the steering and also calibrated it out so it doesn't oversteer. It's about 91%. So everything else is set the way I want it. I got the car named. I'm going to put another receiver in the Typhon so that both of them will be able to run off this controller. This one will be called Granite and that one will be called Typhon, and we'll see how she does. Okay, one final word to everyone. This is for your steering trim, or I'm sorry, that's your throttle. Right there, I'm at 0. And this is for your steering trim, up and down. So that's what those two are for. And I'll leave it at 0 for now. I like to keep everything working. Okay, so that's your throttle trim, steering trim, and then this is your gyro sensitivity. So basically, that's all you need, really. Forward, reverse, gyro sensitivity, steering trim, and that's it. And got the model name on there for my Typhon, and I'm set to go, man. Gives you the voltage of your battery, how much voltage you have on your battery in the controller, and you know, mainly I just wanted it for the gyro, and it works really well. And my little GoPro, let's see, my little GoPro, well, it doesn't matter. It's plugged in right now, but it'll just mount up there, and I can just bend the antenna down out of the way, or you could mount a cell phone up there, whatever, you know. Perfect. Nice little controller. I mean, for the price, I like it. It's a good controller.